Touchdown, Alabama, let's get it.
The process, no one can stop this. Hottest show in the streets, I bet you can't top this. Rammer, jammer, yellow hammer, come see how we rock this. Alabama fans, the best, there's no way you can top this. Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
The process.
Welcome into The Process, Crimson Tide Recruiting. I'm your host, Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Thank you guys so much for joining me on today's show. And like every other week, we are trying to close out this week with another great show, as I'll be joined by Alabama's 2021 four-star defensive tackle target, Tim Keenan III. Later in the show, he will talk about some of the schools that are currently pushing for him, including Alabama, just how he's dealing with this recruitment during this global pandemic and how that has affected the recruiting landscape. So it's going to be a pleasure to have him on The Process on today, on Thursday's episode of The Process. As always, you guys can check out The Process every Tuesday and Thursday right here on Touchdown Alabama's YouTube page. So be sure to subscribe to Touchdown Alabama on YouTube to stay updated on everything Alabama football recruiting with The Process and yours truly. But before we get a chance to talk with Tim Keenan III, I have to hit you guys with those recruiting updates. You guys have to stay updated with everything Alabama football recruiting. So I'm going to hit you guys with those recruiting updates. Then I'm going to go to my conversation with Tim Keenan III. So with that being said, let's get the process started. I have a few recruiting updates to provide you guys with. As many of you are, we are waiting on J.C. Latham, the 2021 five-star offensive lineman, to announce his commitment in the next couple of days. As I said in the last episode of The Process, a source at IMG Academy told me that a commitment from J.C. Latham was a week away on last Sunday, so I'm expected to him to announce a commitment later this week, possibly tomorrow, which is Friday, possibly this weekend, or possibly early next week. Either way, I think a commitment from J.C. Latham should come in the next couple of days, and Alabama still looks to be a strong contender in this recruitment as far as his decision to announce his verbal commitment at this moment in the next couple of days. In the meantime, Alabama did get some good recruiting news. They were included in a top 5 released by 2021 four-star defensive end Keenan out of the state of Florida. And when you look at the state of Florida, especially when Alabama is recruiting guys to the defensive end and outside linebacker position, you know that Alabama's outside linebacker coach Sassen Siri is going to help lead Alabama push for those guys, especially with this Florida tie. So Sassen Siri still looks to be heavily involved in Keenan recruitment as Alabama continues to push for the four-star defensive end in the 2021 recruiting class. Alabama is also still involved in four-star defensive back Latrell McCutcheon's recruitment. He recently released a graphic showing some love to the University of Alabama. Of course, Alabama's defensive back coach Carl Scott has a great relationship with Latrell McCutcheon. When he verbally committed to Alabama, he talked about Carl Scott and Jeff Banks, both guys who have roots in the state of Texas, and he talked about how those guys told him the truth and he really trusted those guys. And he did say when he decommitted from Alabama, they was going to still consider Alabama throughout his recruitment. And when I got a chance to talk with his father, Trey McCutcheon, he did tell me that Latrell was still considering Alabama heavily in his recruitment at this very moment. So Latrell McCutcheon has got to look out for Alabama in the 2021 recruiting class at the defensive back position, a position where Alabama still has a lot of targets still on the board. So pay close attention to Latrell McCutcheon, the four-star defensive back out of Texas. Something else to keep your eyes on, just something else to make a note of, as Alabama's 2021 four-star offensive lineman target and James Brockermeyer, one of the Brockermeyer twins. Of course, Alabama is still heavily recruiting him and his brother Tommy Brockermeyer. Tommy is a five-star offensive tackle in the 2021 recruiting class, as James Brockermeyer actually wore an Alabama shirt to one of his recent workouts with his brother and also his father, who will actually coach him and his brother during their senior season. He will be their offensive line coach as senior, so that is something that's pretty cool for their entire family. But James Brockermeyer did wear that Alabama shirt, and it caused a bit of smoke on Twitter recently. A lot of people pointing that out, that he had an Alabama t-shirt, and I think Alabama is still heavily involved in those guys' recruitment, and a commitment from them could come in the summer for several different reasons, as their dad did tell me that their visit schedule is going to be bit limited during the football season. They're as a family are going to try to get to as many of the University of Texas games as possible, as their older brother of the twins is actually a member of the Texas Longhorns football team. So they're going to try to get to as many of those games as possible and enjoy their senior season. So I think that a commitment from those guys could come possibly this summer and get their recruitment kind of behind them. And I think Alabama is still considered one of their top schools, so that Alabama is still really pushing for those guys. So there's just something to keep a note on for Alabama's push for offensive linemen in the 2021 recruiting class. We're now going to go to our conversation with Alabama's 2021 four-star defensive tackle target, Tim Keenan III. We are now joined by 2021 four-star defensive tackle Tim Keenan III out of Ramsey High School in Birmingham, Alabama, one of Alabama's top defensive targets in the 2021 recruiting class, one of the top defensive tackles in the nation. So we are so grateful to have him join us right here on the Process on Touchdown, Alabama's YouTube page. How's everything going, Tim?
Yeah, everything good. I'm just working out in chores pretty much. Just getting back to it, losing weight and everything.
Yeah, I feel you on that, and I know that you had an opportunity to work out with Quentin Williams recently. I know that you are constantly working out, constantly trying to work on your game. What are some of the things you are trying to improve heading into your senior season?
Really, just my endurance and like my body physique, and just really just being more of an athlete instead of a D lineman.
Yeah, I definitely think you're one of the more athletic defensive linemen, especially for a guy for your size. Now, so I know your dad sent me a video of you pushing the truck, so I know you're definitely putting in work. And I know a lot of schools are continuing to push for you, including Alabama. What are some of the things you're hearing from Alabama staff as far as them being in contact?
It's just we can't really visit right now because of the pandemic and the dead period and everything, but it's just like they say we stand with you, where you stand with us and things like that.
Yeah, I got you on that. And with you considering so many other schools, what are some of the other schools that are continuing to push? I know you told me when I got a chance to speak with you during the football season, a lot of other SEC schools. Or what are some other schools you feel are really standing out to you as far as them staying in contact with you during this recruiting dead period?
Definitely Georgia, LSU, Tennessee, Oregon, and Nebraska, and North Carolina.
Yeah, I know you listed those schools, and I know that your teammate, four-star outside linebacker Jeremiah Williams, is also considering a lot of those schools that you are considering as well. Is that a possibility you guys could possibly team up at the next level? Is that something you guys even think about or possibly talk about?
We talked about it, but we kind of keep it in secret. Like we're gonna surprise each other, and then we end up going to the same school. It'll kind of be like a cheat code.
Yeah, I got you on that. And with you considering so many different schools, I know that you want to. I know that you posted on Twitter that you want to announce your commitment on National Signing Day, possibly during the early signing period. Are you sticking closely to that at the moment and just trying to possibly take some more visits once the football season starts?
I wanna either do. I plan on going like in December now, or either the All-American game.
Okay, then and the last question I wanted to ask you what are some of the things you are going to consider when you make this decision? I know you're going to possibly consider the academic side. You're going to consider possibly early playing time. But what are some of the things you are personally going to consider before you make that decision?
Like how the players are treated. Like look how many transfer, like not transfer, like really transfers, but with the reason they're transferring for and things like that. Like why are they transferring and things, and look at the history and the culture behind it. Is it a winning mentality team, or is it a, let's do our best type of team?
Thank you so much for joining me on the process today, Tim. As always, thank you guys so much for joining me on the process and watching the process on Touchdown, Alabama's YouTube page. Be sure to subscribe While you're here, then head over to touchdownalabama.com, pick up that subscription. Get that subscription, you'll be able to read all of our subscriber-only articles and more. Plus, get your hands on our yearly print magazine issue. So go ahead and subscribe to touchdownalabama.com. Stay updated on everything Alabama football. Then download the Touchdown Alabama app to your mobile device, your phone, or your tablet. The app is located in the Google Play Store as well as the Apple App Store. As always, I am Justin Smith, the scouting recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama magazine.